This is the MLW Radio Network. This is the Mind of the Meanie. Here are your hosts, the Blue Meanie and Adam Barnard.
Peace, world, and welcome everybody to the Mind of the Meanie, your weekly peek into the world according to former WWE superstar and ECW original, the Blue Meanie. We'll cover wrestling, music, movies, sports, and lots of useless knowledge, all contained in the Mind of the Meanie. I'm your tour guide, Adam Barnard, and from a remote location inside the Meanieverse, he is the Blue Meanie. Meanie, what is on your mind?
The long and winding road. Bum, 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 bum. Holy shit, man. Yeah, thank you for your patience and working with me. Yeah, I am coming from Mama Root's house in beautiful Connecticut. Decided to take a little family voyage up here to Connecticut. And, you know, I didn't have the foresight to think, oh, maybe we should do an emergency Ask Meanie Anything when we did last week's episode. But, you know, in pro wrestling, you got to make it work. You know, you got to make it work, baby. You grab a hold, call the next spot. And I brought my equipment up here. For whatever reason, my mic didn't want to work, the one that's always worked. But, yeah, after it's like I had my own version of Planes, Trains, and Automobiles coming up here. You know, me and Mrs. Meanie were driving from Philly to Connecticut, and of course my car decided to stall out on I-287, and it was like, okay, here we go. It's something I've been through plenty of times, and I'm a proud member of AAA, so I call AAA. They inform me that they are not allowed to tow my vehicle off the New York Thruway, so that's wonderful. So I had to get like a third-party towing company to come get me and take me off there so they could drop me off so another tow truck could come legally tow me off on my way to Connecticut. So I get towed to a diner. We got towed to a diner, and then I hit the app, tell them where we're at. They're like, okay, 20 minutes. 20 minutes turns into an hour and a half.
Jesus.
With about 45 minutes of that saying soon. The AAA driver shows up, puts my car on the thing. I look in the cab, and there's another human being in there. I was like, oh, how are me and my wife going to fit in here? And they go, well, our policy is we're not allowed to have anybody in our cab. I was like, yeah, but the other tow truck company just had us. He's like, and I was like, yeah, we got like another 40 miles to go. So he's like, oh, that's our policy, man. I'm like, what the fuck? So I was like, give me a second. So, like, I was going to, like, okay, do I Uber? Eventually, we got somebody to come down to get us. But our car got towed 40 miles.
Oh, my God.
And we had to, like, catch up with it, like, an hour later. So, long story short, short intro long, we were supposed to record this morning at a certain time. But I found, like, the closest repair shop that is AAA approved. And my car is fixed, and now I feel like I sat on a road cone.
My God.
Yeah, one fuel pump and a battery later, I feel cleansed.
You feel thoroughly cleansed between that and the road cone sitting. Yeah, dude, I'm just glad you guys are all right. I'm glad everybody's good. I'm glad there were no major issues. For those of you who, the uninitiated, I-287 is the exchange that connects New York City and New Jersey. And if you've never driven to New York City before, it's the drizzling shits. Brett, what would you call that?
It's the shits.
So it's incredibly difficult to get up there. I'm honestly glad you just didn't get stuck on the fucking GW, man. The George Washington Bridge is like hell on earth. And I am glad you didn't have to go through there, but I am glad you are right.
Since I am a typical professional wrestler and extremely cheap on the way to Connecticut, I go the way of the Tappan Zee, which is no longer the Tappan Zee. They blew it up and built a new bridge, but fuck it. They know what it is.
Well, fuck it. We'll do it live.
Yeah, I still call it the Tappan Zee. I don't give a shit. I ain't putting them over.
We'll put them over.
I know going that way, the toll is like $6, where the George Washington's like 15. So I'll go that way, but on the way home, when they don't charge for the other way on the George Washington, that's when I take the George Washington.
That's right. That's right.
Laundry goes off. Excuse that.
Well, so see that buzzer alert is actually the reminder that you are correct, sir. That's your truth alert button. So when it goes off, it definitely indicates that we are absolutely not. We are no selling. This is a no sell area. So
I'm just happy it wasn't a life alert button, and this be a much shorter podcast.
We've already had enough medical emergencies happen on the show. I don't need James running through the door again for another one with the fucking life alert. All right, so let's just count our lucky stars. God. Jesus, God Almighty. And speaking of
power through this thing.
Yeah, and speaking of Jesus God Almighty, the Pod Squad is here. Not connected, but just a nice transition. Thank you all again for your patience as we record this. Don't forget, go to patreon.com right now, patreon.com/mindofthemeanie. Join us here to watch us live every week as Meanie and I record, whether it's here or somewhere in the Meanieverse. But Meanie, I gotta tell you, I'm not sure where to even start here this week. There's a lot going on, and there's many things that are happening right now in the world, and in the world of our lives and wrestling, and there's just so much, and I don't even know. I guess the best way to start this is just to tell you that I found the most amazing bakery in a gas station down on the other side of Chester County here in Coatesville. It's called Faraway Farms,
and that's really the subject that people want us to broach.
We're hitting the hard hitting stuff here on Mind of the Meanie episode 117.
Well, if you don't find the right cupcakes, they become very hard.
I'm telling you.
As I had just eaten a cupcake before I joined this podcast, because Mama Root, Mrs. Meanie's mom, is a wonderful cook. And so the fact that you found the perfect bakery out there, is it Amish?
I think so. I think they source from the Amish out here. But Courtney and I, we were over at one of our family members' houses. We were taking the kids to pick strawberries because they have a whole farm and a whole setup over there, and got a whole big bucket of strawberries. And we're driving, and we needed gas because Courtney. One thing about my wife, you'll learn, like Courtney never gets gas ever. Like she's like, oh, well, we have to go to New York, but wait, we need gas, and like we can make it. There's 30 miles left in the car, and it's like she literally pushes it to the last minute and the very last second as we're fucking coasting into the Wawa on fumes, right? So we needed gas. I'm like, fuck, all right. So I'm driving, and I see this little gas station. I had to stop, so I pull in, and my card wouldn't work in the reader because of course it doesn't. So I go in, and it's this little.
Why would it?
Well, it never does, yeah. And it's this little tiny cute little restaurant deli thing, right? And it's all this bakery, and I look at the girl that sat there. I was like, what is this place? And she was like, oh, well, we're Faraway Farms. We're this corner store here. And I'm looking around, and it's like these incredible baked goods in the window, right? They have like a strawberry cheesecake bar and a lemon cream cheese bar and all kinds of cookies and shit and fresh coffee and big sandwich board. And I just literally just like, holy shit. So, of course, Courtney my wife is also a baker. Courtney bakes a lot of stuff, and she's a cheesecake connoisseur. So I always go to grab something for her when I go anywhere. So we get in the
cheesecake bar.
So we get in there. I got her the strawberry cheesecake bar, and we get in the car, and she's like, this literally is just like cream cheese on a bar, and it's fucking fantastic. So now I said to her, I was like, are you open tomorrow? She's like, no, we're not open Sunday. I was like, all right, I'm coming back here Monday to get breakfast. And so I think we've now found our new spot here, but it's really in the important details. I know that these are the hard-hitting stories and the hard-hitting context and discourse that they expect from us here at Mind of the Meanie, Blue Meanie. So I just wanted to share Faraway Farms. It's the corner store down here. I'll get you the address in a second. But, how about I'm going to airmail you some stuff down there to Philadelphia. It's in Glenmore, Pennsylvania, 690 Marshall Road, Glenmore, Pennsylvania. There's a free plug for you. But Yeah, no.
Hopefully you get some perks out of it.
Yeah, dude. Speaking of perks, Jesus Christ. So the entire world is just falling apart, it feels like. And
yeah, what a time to be in the wrestling business or a part of, are floating around the wrestling business. Hold on. See if you can hear this. Can you hear that?
Incredible stuff, guys. Ladies and gentlemen, we have...
I can't remember what regular air smells like.
It is incredible.
A little inside baseball. I am... there's a little bar in the basement of this house, and I have the world's most interesting man over my shoulder.
Yeah. That's what Vanessa says. I don't always go live on Mind of the Meanie, but when I do...
Hello, Vanessa.
We got all types of folks here. We got Vanessa, we got Travis, we got Andrew Bailey. Bailey, we got some. We're staying on the food topic for a second before we really dive deep here. They have 3 new Philadelphia flavors of Hershey chips at the Wawa now. Wit Whiz, Hot Longs, and Sharp Provolone, and 215 special chips. What the fuck is a 215 special chip? I'm going to Google this right now.
I don't know. Speaking of the 215, I just saw the Adam Sandler movie, Hustle.
Yeah.
And it is very Philadelphia. It's really good. So if you get a chance to...
He shouted out the Federal Donuts as well. He wore a sweatshirt of that, and they are just over the moon right now. So,
he filmed right in my neighborhood.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
So
it's pretty cool.
It's 215 special sauce. So it's salt, pepper, ketchup, and hot sauce. Meanie, I think this might need to be our first live video where we get these bags of chips and we try them out, man. I think so. I think we should. Yeah, Vanessa said with your fart, the Dos Equis guy just winced, which I definitely believe that is possible. And as always...
I can't remember what regular air smells like.
I mean...
I'll take care of that.
There you go. That a boy.
There we go.
Look, man, I know that,
Tito, get me a tissue.
Oh, goddamn. I know that folks are expecting us to sort of dive in here a little bit, but
yeah,
I got to be honest with you, man. And, I don't really feel comfortable talking about it. I really would rather not comment. So I think we're just going to move past the big one. I don't know. I don't feel like I'm qualified to talk about it. You know what I mean? Like, and there's just so much.
Well, here's the thing. It's like everybody knows what we're alluding to. But I am in the business of trying not to look stupid. Because some of you might say too late, but there's plenty of it's a fluid, no pun intended. It's a fluid situation, and facts are changing all the time, and maybe in a week when we actually know what's going on, maybe it'd be better suited to say something, other than go on speculation of one article and stuff like that,
I think I think you're right, and it's there's especially with something like this that is in the context of what it is, and context, fucking pronouns, pal. But it's, I don't know, man. I don't feel comfortable talking about it yet, just because, like you said, it's a very fluid, developing story. And there's a lot of things that we don't know yet because there are other things that they are looking into. And, I guess...
There's the main story that everybody knows about.
Right.
And then there's like a side story of stocks and stuff being moved around. And then like all this other stuff that, when it comes to stock market shit, I know shit.
Yeah,
in the words of, I can't think of her name from... what's that show? Ozark, where she says, "I don't know fuck about shit." About Ruthie.
Yeah.
To quote Ruthie from Ozark, "I don't know fuck about shit about stocks."
That's right.
So, just like how, when people, try to talk wrestling lingo to me, and I'm just like, no, that's not what that means.
Working yourself into a shoot, brother.
Yeah.
dude. Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I think too, it's also important to note as well that, like, you know, we're not journalists. Like, would never claim to be a journalist in any way, shape, or form. Neither does Meanie. No. A lot of this is speculation. Like, truthfully, and we're being serious. You know, it's like, it's speculation. There's a lot of things. It's a developing story, but there's also a lot of, like, legal implications in this. And I definitely don't want to be one of those people that says something and ends up having it, you know, held against us somewhere or anything like that. So I would,
I don't want to be quoted.
Right. I don't want to end up in any sheets or anything like that. Like, you know, shout out to Raj, shout out to Sean Ross Sapp and all those guys. You know, no beefs or anything like that. I just don't want to be, especially with this story. Like, if it's us talking to Al Snow and letting him out of the green room, totally fine. Go ahead and cover it.
Right.
But with this, I think one of the things I will say, though, is that it feels weird knowing that he is not the CEO anymore. You know, like, even in a limited capacity. You know, like,
he is.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, there's, I don't know, man. Okay.
It's that whole. It's a mob thing.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah. You're right. Honestly, though, you're right. Like, you're right. It's like, literally, okay, well, we're gonna put me in charge for a little bit.
I'm stepping down, but here comes my nephew.
Yeah, here's Tony Mamaluke over here. He's gonna run the show for a little bit. He's gonna run things for a little while.
Yo, cuz Anthony's taking over for a little bit.
Yo, cuz say less. Yeah.
Yo, bow.
Yo, cuz. I know. I just, again, I think definitely we are just well prepared to leave that one on the table for now. We can, as we say in the corporate world, we can table that until we get more information. What did you eat?
What didn't I eat?
It smells like baby food.
In a dirty diaper. I will say I have talked to people who do deal in stocks and stuff like that, and they've had interesting takes, but they're the people I know who deal with stocks and business. They're in a let's wait and see. So I'm gonna, you know, when there's something I don't know, I like to listen to people who do know, and the people I know who work in stocks and work in, you know, stuff like that. They say, this is a let's wait and see moment. You know, there's other people who have to report on things and have to talk about things because that's their living. That's that's how they pay their bills. But yeah, I'd rather not speak on something I know I don't know fuck about shit about. I know shit about fuck about, and wait and see where it goes.
Yeah, so I think that's where we're going to button up that particular part of this segment here, because, you know, not knowing shit about fuck, I definitely don't want to put my foot in my mouth. That should be the title of the show. Don't know shit about fuck. I love it. Yeah. Get two shits about fuck. But I will say there are, you know, we could talk about this one because this is another big story coming out right now. The reports are coming out that Sasha Banks has been released from WWE. And Raj Giri from Wrestling Inc. Shout out to the homie Raj. Bless be, sir. Bless be, sir. He broke the story. And it has not been confirmed yet, but it sounds like there are a lot of folks on the Twitter sphere who have confirmed it in all different shapes, all corners of wrestling Twitter, everywhere.
Now, I've been dealing with fucking car shit. So when did this come out?
This came out, I think it was Thursday afternoon. Someone in the pod squad can correct me, but apparently it was right before, or it was right after the other big news broke, was that that officially Sasha Banks had been released from her contract. And I mean, for me, and friend of the show, Alfred Kunawa, did a great piece on Forbes about the Hall and Nash conversation that everybody has, like, with AEW. Everyone's waiting for the Hall and Nash moment, and, you know, the CM Punk and Daniel Bryan and all these other things. And his thing was like, no, this will be Sasha Banks. Sasha Banks will be Scott Hall. If something like that happens, his point, and I agree with it, is that she is a transitional or sort of a transcendent talent, and that she can go and pretty much do anything. So what are your thoughts on the potential, almost completely confirmed, that Sasha Banks is no longer with WWE?
It's to me, that's a bigger thing, you know, because when the story came out that her and Naomi, it's so funny how wrestling is and how wrestling fans think one thing's a shoot and it's a work, and other things a work and it's a shoot. Like the whole MJF thing's a work, but people are swearing that it's a shoot. They bought a plane ticket. Really? Are you Expedia? How do you know he bought a plane ticket? Unless he fed you that information. But
right.
And then there's people who swore that the Sasha and Naomi thing was a work. And here's the thing. WWE addressed it on their TV once, took them off all the things, and they haven't been mentioned on TV at all.
Yeah.
Whereas MJF, the rumors are coming out, and he was allowed to come out and cut a 18-minute promo, or however long that promo was. And, if that does a cry of work, but to get it to the actual point you're talking about, Sasha Banks leaving WWE is huge.
Yeah.
She's mainstream. She transcends the business. Whether it's stuff she's doing with Snoop, or she's in the new Star Wars, she's in the Snow. I'm not a Star Wars geek. Sorry.
She's in The Mandalorian was the show that she appeared in. Yeah.
I was going to say the Mandible Claw.
You were close. You were close.
Yeah.
That should be the name of the show. Star Wars presents the Mandible Claw.
Yeah. Let's trend, baby.
Let's do it.
Yeah. It's a huge thing. Everybody wants the next Attitude Era. Everybody wants and now everybody's clamoring for the next Hall and Nash moment. I'm from Philly. I almost said Hall and Oates.
I was good. There are so many good titles inside this.
Yeah.
Someone should Schlichter, if you're listening, you should Photoshop Hall and Oates and NWO shirts and let us post it.
Daryl Hall and Kevin Nash.
Great, man. That might be the other one. Go ahead. I'm sorry. I keep interrupting you.
Yeah. Let's name it Daryl Hall and Kevin Nash.
You got it. That's the one.
It's huge. And it's going to be interesting to see how it gets handled on the other end. I love AEW. I love what they do. I love the opportunities they give people. But it just seems like people make a big splash. Then they kind of back off into the weeds and kind of get lost in the brush, so to speak. And that's not me talking shit. That's not me shooting, brother. It's just an observation. It's just an observation.
I think it sucks that we have to preface things like that. Like, I feel like there's just such a, and it's on both sides, on many sides. It's it just sucks that when we have conversations, it's like, oh, well, we have to preface everything by saying like, nothing against it, WWE, or nothing against it. It's like, why can't we just have conversations where we're having...
people take things so personal.
Go touch grass, go touch consensual cheeks, as our friend Northwesty would say, touch consensual cheeks.
Or as Casio Kid says, go poop with your pants on.
I have said that to my kids so many times I can't even count. But go take a poop with your pants on. No, it just sucks that we have to preface everything like that. But you're right. I mean, I have my doubts about AEW finding a real way to utilize her in that women's division. Because there's a lot of things that we can say about WWE in the women's division that we can also say about AEW in their women's division. There's a lot that's left to be desired on both ends. And I don't think either of them, and we sort of talked about this in a sidebar the other day. I mean, I feel like nobody's getting it right now. We are in a time, and I want to pick your brain on this too. We're in a time where the wrestling content is just extraordinary. It's overflowing. And no one seems to be able to get it right. Like, what do you think, as someone who worked in the middle of the Attitude Era? What do you think that's attributes to?
It's just a matter of, when the Monday Night Wars happened, they came out of a sense of necessity. Ironically, Vince was just coming out of the doldrums of the steroid trial. Business was down. He was having it, trying to make a comeback and, claw back, fight back, and build his business. And then it was just, WCW likewise was losing a lot of money. They were losing a lot of money from, house show business being down, ratings being down. So both were in a point where they were both in financial peril. WCW was hurting for money and ratings. WWE was hurting for money and ratings. And it came to a point where, Vince will always be number one. WWE will always be number one. And it's easy for WCW to be number two when there's nobody else in the room, but it came to a point where, Bischoff had the vision, and shout out to our friend Eric Bischoff. He said very nice things to me.
Yeah.
On 83 Weeks that I want to say thank you about watching. They were doing a live watch along of One Night Stand, and he had some very nice things to say about me, which is very kind. But he was a visionary. He says, in order for me to compete, I had to go head to head with WWF with live TV every Monday night. And he approached Ted Turner, and Ted Turner said, give him what he wants. And that's where the business of the Monday Night Wars came. WCW needed ratings, and to get the revenue up, WWE was needed to get their ratings up and stuff. So it became like an arms race of trying to get talent. And ECW in some ways paid the price for that too, because we were harvesting this talent, even though some talents had been successful elsewhere. ECW gave a lot of people exposure in North America, so they for lack of a better term, they poached us for talent. Now, if you flash forward to now, WWE is probably having one of their best years financially. Billions of dollars. AEW is backed by Tony Khan, who's by the Khan family, who's very successful business folks, billionaires, and they're both. There's a saying: a hungry dog. Oh my God! A fed dog don't hunt.
There you go.
A fed dog don't hunt. So if you're both making money, you're not really hurting for money. And in today's age, ratings are a thing of the past when everybody's got smartphones and streaming services and alternative, possibly illegal ways of watching your product. Back, during the Monday Night Wars, you had to watch Monday night, 9 o'clock, or I think Nitro got an hour early in on them or something like that.
Yep.
But it was, WWE was, and WCW was appointment television. Now, as much as AEW likes to tout their ratings, only when they win, never when they lose.
Right. Which is an important distinction, friends. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. When they lose, ratings aren't important. When they win, we had the best ratings.
Oh, we hit the best ratings in the key demo.
Yeah. So, but the way people watch the product is night and day. So, and that comes down to content. If you're fat and happy, you're making the money from alternative means, whether it's Avenue streams or sponsors or Saudi Arabia or wherever, you're getting your money. And let's talk turkey. That's where the money's coming from. The product suffers.
Right.
Where if they weren't making money and they had trouble, putting people in the building, that's when you get the fire lit under your ass. And that's when, you start going for blood. Like, Vince McMahon and Eric Bischoff, Eric Bischoff challenging Vince McMahon to a physical altercation every week on Monday Nitro, calling him out on live TV. That was great times. Right now it's just, comic book wrestling, and, message boards and, banter,
comic book wrestling.
There's no there's no real heat. There's no real substance to whatever competition they think they're having, which they're not.
Let me ask you a question then, and then maybe that's a good like transition though. Do you think that the fans are just expecting too much? Because I noticed this, and you talked about Star Wars, and I noticed this, in the Star Wars fandom, because Obi-Wan Kenobi is out right now, and it's they have a 6-part short run series, and every time there's a new Star Wars, you get half of the world is like, oh, this is the greatest thing that's ever existed, and then you got the other half of the world are like, this is fucking terrible, and the libs took it over, and blah 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 whatever, and like, do you and then people just aren't like, well, we have to accept this for what it is. So do you think people are just too, what's the right word? What's the right way to ask this? Do you think people are just too invested in the past and not focused enough on the future to realize what's going on? Or do you think creative really just does suck that much? Or do you think it's a combination of the two?
I think no matter what form of entertainment you have, whether it's wrestling or Star Wars or comic books, people think they're smarter than they are, and they think they know they think they know the business they're not a part of more than the people who know the business. Back in the day, I could see two guys arguing in a comic book shop about who's the better comic book villain, or what's the best comic, or this, that, and the other thing, and that's fantasy baseball. But now with social media and all these alternative methods, those people are given louder voices. Right. Is their opinions valid? I mean, opinions are opinions. They're not facts, right?
Right.
Everybody can have an opinion, but when you think about what goes into the product or how the product should be, not knowing all the mitigating factors to go into making that product, that's wherein lies, what creative comes down to. How many times do they wrestle? Oh, wrestler so-and-so should be getting a push. Well, maybe said company wants to give that guy a push, but mentally that guy's not ready for the push.
Right.
I've known, excuse me, I've known very talented wrestlers who influenced a lot of people, who are given the opportunity to go to the next level in WWE. And once they got up there, they didn't like it.
Yeah,
they were happy and comfortable being independent wrestlers, and couldn't handle the travel, the pace, the lifestyle of professional wrestling, and they were just wanted to be, the independent wrestler. But meanwhile, everybody's going, "Oh, push that guy to the moon." Well, the guy's not ready. So, and that's just one instance. That's not my only point of contention, but with when it comes to comic books or Star Wars, we don't know what's going on in the writer's room or the politics. That's the most important thing too, is the politics of these businesses as well. It's not always about what the fans want. It's about who can politic the best behind the scenes to get their script in, or get their actor in, or get their lines in. Yeah. I know many people who've been on movies and they're like, yeah, so-and-so politicked with the writers to get some more scenes in this role and stuff like that. So same with wrestling, it's not, how good you are. So a lot of times it's who not always the best wrestler wins out. So and the fan, that's not the fault of the fan. The fan is being passionate and talking about the thing they love, but when they say, something's lacking, is it?
Right.
Or, and when it comes to pro wrestling, there's no weeks off. There's no season. It drives me nuts when WWE goes, the
season premiere.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, that drives me nuts. I hate that. But, there's no off time. It's constant each and every week. And, who said this the other day? Dutch Mantel said this the best. Shout out to Russell Shoot Interviews on YouTube. James Romero, a buddy of mine, he does some of the best interviews on YouTube. He's talking to Dutch Mantel, and Dutch Mantel says, when the creative's great, the wrestlers get the credit for being good wrestlers, but when the product's bad, shitty creative.
Right. Right.
It's kind of like a quarterback gets the blame for gets the praise for when a team wins, and so I don't know. I'm trying to figure out different analogies. But
like when when the quarterback, when they win, the quarterback gets the praise, and when they lose, he gets shit on. It's like, well,
coach. When they lose, it's
coach.
The head coach.
Right.
Yeah.
But it's the same thing. Like there's definitely, like we've talked about before. I mean, there's definitely a lot of elements to both companies. When I say both companies, I'm talking about the major leaguers, right? And that's not to discount NWA or Impact or anything like that. But as far as apples to apples comparison, there's a lot of things that AEW and WWE do that are mostly good. There's one or two things that are really good, and then the rest of it is like, meh. I don't know, man. There's just, how many times can we watch the New Day and the Usos wrestle each other? How many times can we watch them run this back now? And now Brock is back as of last night. Spoiler alert, Brock Lesnar came back last night on SmackDown. And there's a lot of chatter online right now, which, again, I try to ignore because Twitter is just a fucking cesspool. And I won't speak for Meanie, but I know for sure if I didn't need to be on Twitter, I wouldn't fucking be there anymore. But Brock Lesnar's back, but I think that was an audible because Cody's out. Randy Orton is now out. Who else? Drew is in the picture. Kofi's not in it. Big E is out.
Well, we just talked about last week where they had to turn Edge
babyface, right?
With Cody being out, they needed a babyface.
They could have easily run that program back, but then that would have been the third time they would have had an Edge Roman Reigns story. Because they did it at WrestleMania with Daniel Bryan. Then they ran it back at Extreme Rules. And it's like, attaboy. And it's just, so now we have Brock Lesnar, Roman Reigns, 654. And it's like, part of me is like excited because I love the Canadian alpha male stuff. Like that stuff with Brock and Sami Zayn is gold anytime it's on TV. But at the same time, it also does speak to the fact that it's like, well, why aren't there any other established guys here that can come in and credibly challenge? It sounds like they're keeping Drew. They're going to wait for Drew to go and do the event overseas when they're in England, and they'll probably put one of the belts on him there. But I feel like this is a stopgap between, whenever Cody comes back. And I know John Alba, a friend of the show, John Alba, had mentioned something about Cody.
Great guy.
Oh, fantastic guy. Love the and definitely check out all of his content on ad-free shows, by the way. Him and Eric Bischoff do an incredible show called Strictly Business, which is about the business of this business. Absolutely incredible. So go out of your way to listen to it. But
excellent.
It does sort of feel like there are a lot of, well, let's throw it at the wall and see what sticks, pal, kind of ideas going on right now. That's
what happens when you have live TV every week.
And that's and also too, I mean, you do have to. There is a sort of credible part to this where it's you have to start building other people. For all the shit that Vince Russo did wrong during his time in both WCW and WWE, one of the things he did right was that everybody had a story and everybody felt like they could be interchangeable. Like there wasn't a time where I didn't think Ken Shamrock could credibly challenge, or that he couldn't credibly challenge for the WWE title, or even Chyna. Chyna was the first female, the first woman wrestler to ever challenge for the main title, and that's what I enjoyed so much about that, was that everybody had a story, everybody had a part. You guys had BlueDust. You know what I mean? Like there were things that were happening. And I think it's hard. I think it's hard to ignore that. What do you think about that?
You hit the nail on the head. Vince Russo, for all the heat or the land-based thing he takes in public, he did come up with a lot of great ideas that everybody on that card is important. Everybody should play a role, and everybody should be ready to go at any moment.
Right.
Where, you could, something's not working with, wrestler A, okay, wrestler B gets in that spot, and wrestler B takes over and has a good run. It's kind of like here I am with the sports analogies again, but it's like a good baseball manager who's managing the game in front of him instead of burying his nose in the book and looking at stats and, situations and stuff like that. Where, Phillies just fired Joe Girardi, who was basically going by stats and looking in the book. They fire him, and then they get this baseball lifer in there, Rob Thompson, which I want to keep on to call Rob Thompson from.
Cause you're so smooth.
Oh, I got big heat.
Under the moon.
I got big heat for singing that song. It's not the same guy. I'm like, all right.
Wait,
let me have my fantasy.
Yeah. I was gonna say, yeah. Wait, no, I was gonna say, did you get heat about singing that song?
I get heat anytime I sing because I can't sing.
Oh,
and rightfully so.
Got it.
And rightfully so. But they hired a baseball lifer who manages the game that's in front of them.
Right.
And they won the last 12 or 14 games.
Yeah.
So it's just a matter of looking at the talent, see what's the best component of the talent you have, accentuate the positives, hide the negatives. And there needs to be, I wish there, and this is going to sound weird, I wish there was like a Bill Watts type guy, not hardcore like Bill Watts, but somebody who can go in there and lay down some fucking guidelines to where not every fucking match has the same fucking moves.
Right.
Because if I saw the same thing in the first 4 matches, why do I have to stick around for the last 4?
Not every match needs to be a fucking spot fest. We don't need this.
You can have a great match and not leave the ring. You could have a great match and not have a dive.
Right.
You can have a great match and not have to get on the microphone and recite Shakespeare.
Right.
You could just go out there and have a great match.
And just let it be there.
And feed off the audience. Listen to the crowd. The crowd will dictate where you go.
Why do you think Roman Reigns got over the way that he did? Is because they took the chain, but they took the chain off of him. They were like, go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead. You and Paul, go ahead and figure it out. Do you think Paul E. Dangerously Heyman, Esquire, Doctor, amateur gynecologist, do you think Mr. Heyman is letting people write stuff for him?
No.
Not a fucking chance in hell, man. You know Paul. Like there's no way. That's why they're so good. That's why those guys are so good. When you watch, your friend Matt Riddle talk on the show.
That's him.
You listen to him, but like it's you can definitely tell that it's a scripted. He memorized it. Whereas when you hear Paul give it back to him, or when you hear Roman give it back to him, it's like, okay, there's no scripting anywhere in that right there. But it's almost like you can hear it's like it's very stunted, Now I wonder what would happen if they pulled the chain off of Riddle and let him just talk and let him be like, the new Rob Van Dam with his speech or whatever they want to do. You know what I'm saying? Like, but on it, like, just think about it. Like, what could his potential and his trajectory be if they just allowed him to be himself? But then you have to take into account with AEW as well, like not having. It doesn't feel like there's a creative barrier there. You know what I mean? So like there's definitely the give and take there. But go ahead, I interrupted you. This is the mind of the meaning, not mind of the hour.
No, there needs to be a governor, guidelines, and then give people bullet points. When I hear Matt talking to Mike, basically it sounds like Matt. I don't know how heavy he's scripted, I don't know, but when I hear him talk, I'm like, that's the guy from the Monster Factory going, dude, let me tell you, just and you just listen and love the guy. And I think the office is high on him from all accounts. And he's going to be something. He's going to be a big star. Well, he is a big star now, but eventually he's going to go to the next level. But yeah, just think of Roman when he's going to suffer in succotash or wherever it was, and where he is now, it's just night and day. Just let him talk. Just give bullet points.
Do you think that Vince made him say that on purpose to see if he would actually do it?
I don't know who wrote that or what happened or the thought that went into it, but
Suffering.
It wasn't working.
Succotash.
Yeah, I don't even know if it was exactly that, but it was still it was really bad.
Ronda Rousey just said it. Ronda Rousey just said it's on skis last week, and I was like, okay, I'm done.
Yeah, zoinks.
Gadzooks.
Yeah, but I don't know, man. They just, there's some people who need help, some people who don't need help, and that's why you accentuate the positive, hide the negatives, work to your talents, strengths.
Yeah.
There's a lot of shit I know I probably shouldn't do, so I don't do it. You won't see me doing a drop kick or this, even though I've tried, and I did one in ECW and it got a pop, but I didn't go back to it because there's just there's really no need for it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anytime I've tried to go out of the realm of my character, people are just like, we want to dance off, so you do what you do and find your voice, find your path, and build upon it.
Do the dance, Meanie. Do the BlueDust thing.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I've seen people do the Blue Meanie dance, and they do it way too quick. There's got to be a little rhythm to it, not a
yeah. Too much.
Which you can see if you go to patreon.com/mindofthemeanie.
You can see Meanie and Adam doing the Meanie dance right now on the screen. Frozen in time.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Well, Meanie, we are not frozen in time, and I'm glad we went through this entire episode without saying his name. But I have a question for you.
Yes.
Would you like to ask Meanie?
I would love to.
It's time to ask Meanie anything.
Ask me something.
Don't forget to tweet us your questions using the hashtag AskMeanie, and you may hear them on the show. We have 2 questions to wrap us up this week. First one comes from Andrew Bailey, member of the Pod Squad. Like we said, don't forget patreon.com/mindofthemeanie. You can see and sign up and watch us live. Who does Meanie think will challenge Jay Switchblade White for the NJWP Championship? Also, I hope it's the return of the cleaner.
Well, hopefully the cleaner is physically healthy enough to come back, which is really the main reason why he's no longer here. But who'll challenge for him? Your guess is as good as mine. I don't follow the New Japan product as much as I wish I could. I love New Japan. I've always admired Japan from afar. It's someplace I've always wanted to wrestle, and was never fortunate enough to get a chance to do so.
Not yet, anyway.
Yeah. Your guess is as good as mine because I just haven't been following the product as much as I would have liked to.
Axel Grease wants to know if you have ever been to my home state of Iowa. Any fun memories or experiences you're willing to share?
I like Iowa because back in the day, I was big into collecting bootleg concerts, and I was always collecting Van Halen bootlegs. And there's a really good Van Halen bootleg from Ames, Iowa, from I want to say the For Unlawful Carnal Knowledge tour at the Fuck Tour, and that city's always been like, Ames, Iowa. Yeah, Van Halen played there. But going to Iowa, I want to say me and Al Snow drove through Iowa. I think we might have wrestled in Iowa, but I distinctly remember driving through Iowa, and we pulled over to stay at a hotel, and there's a sign in the lobby, no game in bedroom. And I was like, that could mean so many different things.
A lot of questions I have right now.
That could be very condemning, like, hey man, you got no game in the bedroom, or please don't play any board games in the bedroom.
So no Parcheesi in bed, pal.
Yeah, but no, they had to, when they make a sign, they make signs for reasons, and that's because somebody did something they weren't supposed to do. So they didn't want you to bring your dead deer in the fucking bedroom in Ames, Iowa. So, yeah, that's what it meant. No game in the bedroom, which means please don't bring your dead animals into the bedroom. So, I wish I would have took a sign. I wish I would have taken a photo of it. But what I did take a photo of, you know how everybody has the regional versions of 7-Eleven or Wawa. We were in Ames, Iowa. I keep saying Ames, Iowa, but it's Iowa. They had their own version of a 7-Eleven called Come and Go.
Yes, with a K.
K-U-M and Go. And I was like, I am not leaving the state until I take a fucking photo of that. And yeah, I saw the photo of that. So
I have a
I
lot.
might be going to Idaho in October.
I have a lot of questions right now about this game in bedroom thing. I'm a little bit more concerned and disturbed than I think anything else.
You should be able to Google it. I'm sure it's still a thing that they have to remind people.
I don't know, man. That's concerning. Matt from Dover wants to know, who do you think is the more credible opponent for Cody Rhodes at his return to win the WWE Championship from Roman Reigns or Seth Rollins?
Well, I'm just for the fact that Seth left Cody laying, it would have to be Seth, right? Because Cody's got 3 straight victories over Seth Rollins. One in which Cody beat Seth Rollins with one arm.
Right.
Because of the torn pec. So, you know, and Cody comes out and gives the appearance that he is, you know, a respectful human being, but meanwhile lays out Cody and tries to further damage his torn pec.
Right.
So when, you know, Cody comes back, it's got to be Seth, because Seth left him laying on his way out of the WWE. You know, hopefully, I think they pro wrestling his return date. You know, they say 9 months, but I think they want people to forget about him. So when he comes back at the Rumble,
yes, I agree.
That it'll, you know, the best pops are the ones that people forgot. Oh yeah, he's out.
Yep.
Because of an injury. You know, not for other reasons, but yeah, when Cody comes back, he still has that bone of contention with Seth Rollins.
Yeah, I don't know if I necessarily. I mean, I'd love the idea of Roman and Cody, but after watching Seth and Cody with their trio of matches, I feel like there's more meat left on the bone, especially if you throw the title in there, and I feel like it would be much more of a fulfilling conclusion if they were able to spin it that way. But as far as fulfilling conclusions go, Meanie, it is always a pleasure to do this program with you every week, whether we are here in our normal places or in the Meanieverse. But where can they find you on the Meanieverse and the Metaverse and the internet and anywhere else they can find you?
If you would like to follow the Blue Meanie, hopefully you have a car, because that way if I break down again, you can give me a lift. But that's just me having fun at my own expense. But if you would like to follow the Blue Meanie on all forms of social media, go to @BlueMeanieBW. That's Instagram, that's Facebook, that's Twitter, and that's TikTok, which I have no clue what's going on. If you want to support the Blue Meanie, go to ProWrestlingTees.com/Blue Meanie. You can also go to ProWrestlingTees.com/Mind of the Meanie if you want to support the Mind of the Meanie. Collar and Elbow, the wrestling brand. Go to collarandelbowbrand.com. Use coupon code Meanie and save 10%. Now, if you want to look good with your collar and elbow or pro wrestling T-shirt, and you want your beard to be popping, go to madcatbeardcare.com. I have a very good scent over there called the Blue Spruce. My boy Josh Thornton is doing an awesome job over there. He's going through some stuff. He's had to move, but he's still doing wonderful work. He's helping different animal shelters take care of cats and all that stuff. And he sent me a really nice care package. He sent me a 1-of-1 Blue Meanie statue where if the Blue Meanie looked like a cat. Yeah, it was very cool. I posted all the photos and links on my social media. So go to madcatbeardcare.com, get yourself some blue spruce oil and balm. Also, if you want to, just like I'm doing right now, if you want to have a well wish, go to cameo.com/BlueMeanieBWO. Go there for birthdays, holidays, well wishes, graduations, whatever you think of, whatever you can creatively think of. Go to cameo.com/BlueMeanieBWO. And this July 23rd, 2022, I will be at Legends of Hamburg. Go to the Pro Wrestling Fan Fest that is returning to the historic Hamburg Fieldhouse in Hamburg, Pennsylvania, where they did all those cool WWE TV tapings and WWF TV tapings and all that good stuff at the historic Hamburg Fieldhouse. Go to legendsofhamburg.com. And, now enough about me. Where can they find you, Mr. Barnard?
Well, thank you, sir. I appreciate that transition. If you'd like to find me on social media, you can go to Twitter and Instagram. You can find me at This Is Goober. Yes, it's my name. Yes, it's my handle. No, I'm not changing it. It's a brand, pal. You can also listen to my secondary show, Foundation Radio, by going to foundationradio.net. I got a lot of great content in the archives there. We're not just wrestling over there. We do everything. So check it out as soon as you can. Also go to prowrestlingtees.com/Foundation Radio. Pick up a shirt. Support the show. Patreon.com/Mind of the Meanie. Sign up today. I will also be at Icons of Wrestling in Philadelphia on August 6th. I will not be there performing. I will not be there doing anything but just walking around and looking at everything. I'll probably be there with my son, so if you see me, come by and say hello. Meanie, it is always a pleasure to see you, my friend. Thank you so much. I'm glad we were able to make today work in spite of all of the challenges that we both faced before we hit record today on this show. Pod Squad, we love you so much. Thank you so much for being here. We appreciate you. For the Blue Meanie, I'm Adam Barnard. Join us again each and every week as we take a trip through the mind
Blue World Order
of the Meanie. Peace.
Blue World Order. This episode of Mind of the Meanie was recorded and produced by Adam Barnard and was engineered by Carl Pinnell. Additional production and narration provided by Sam Krebs. Our executive producers are Josh Chernoff, Adam Barnard, and the Blue Meanie. Our opening theme is performed by the Swamp Candles. Our closing theme is performed by Chikara. The show contains original music produced by Enrichment. Get additional bonus content by becoming our patron on Patreon at patreon.com/Mind of the Meanie. And follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Mind of the Meanie. This has been a Butts Carlton media production in conjunction with the MLW Radio Network. Butts Carlton, proprietor. Blue World Order.
Dad, why is Blue Meanie's brain out?
The world of MLW Radio never stops.